welcome to Friday Facts number 381 with space platforms, and I have my good friend, the Platform Mojo. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
You like being platform this time?
Yes, I'm very platformy.
Cool. So this week we have a few things we need to go over. Yes, back a couple of weeks ago, when the Friday Facts restarted, they showed us what a space platform can look like. And today we get to explain on how they'll work in a bit more detail. And there's a lot of detail. There's also a lot of missing detail.
There's a lot of detail.
But there's a lot of missing detail. Very important missing detail. So what are space platforms? Space platforms are little or not flying factories that act as a means of transportation between planets, both for items and players.
Players, yes.
And players.
This is a thing that's been missed, according to Reddit. Looking at Reddit and Discord and all that, that's something that's been missed.
Yeah, we're pretty sure they came back and bolded the and players part. Probably needed an underline as well.
For some people.
I missed it. 100% I missed it when I first skimmed through everything. Birth of a platform. You start by launching a item called a space platform starter pack into space. Yeah, I'm hoping they can rework that name. Yeah,
It could probably be a little bit more concise. It's a mouthful of words, that is.
Yeah.
Even just starter.
Yeah.
Space platform starter.
Yeah. Call it whatever the building's going to be called.
Platform hub?
Platform hub, whatever the building's going to be called. We'll get to the building in a sec. The items inserted in the rocket style, similar way to a satellite. Cool. And then, yes. And we get to see what's in a rocket now with the alt mode on, which is new.
Which is interesting.
Because
that's new.
Previously, when the rocket launched with alt mode on, you got nothing. We get the space platform hub. The initial platform has only one structure, the space platform hub. The hub is a one per platform central entity which stores items for both construction and logistics, has logistics requests, train-like schedule where planets act as stops. If the hub is destroyed, the entire platform is lost. So don't blow it up, Mojo.
We'll try not to.
Excellent. Okay. The inventory of the space platform hub is limited, but so-called cargo bays can be constructed next to the hub to increase the capacity. And we'll get back to the construction in a minute. And we were talking about this prior to, but my money is, because we've got to launch everything into space, my money is inventory size-wise, I'm willing to bet the main hub building has about 200 total capacity, because like a chest has 48.
Yeah, potentially.
And then your money is the cargo bays have about 100?
I'm actually thinking it's a lot less than that, just because they say the hub inventory is limited. So I'm thinking maybe double that of a cargo wagon, 60 or 80 slots.
Yeah.
Which can then be boosted with quality.
Yes.
To 150% for the main hub. And then the cargo bays definitely, because when we were talking about it, you were saying maybe the cargo bays have up to, what was it, 200?
Yeah, 200. If you add the quality of 150 on top of that, it takes up to 500, which is a lot.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it'll be quite modest, with the idea that you use quality to get much bigger inventory capacity out of it.
Well, these you can at least upgrade. Upgrading the central hub, I think, means you need a high quality one to launch into space to start with.
Yes.
Which
means a whole new platform.
Whole new platform, yeah. A little bit more difficult to upgrade. Yeah. I do like the fact that the buildings snap together. That's a nice addition, and it's something we haven't had in Factorio up until now. I've seen mods have tried to emulate it a little bit, but it's definitely a nice little addition to the game. Let's go with addition to the game. Yeah.
And it's definitely going to make some modders very happy.
Yes.
That's basically official merge chests right there.
Actually, yeah, it is too.
Because as we go on, it's one big central inventory.
It is. And yes, it says the graphics aren't finished yet, but you can already see how the hub and cargo bays will visually attach. Jarslow sanity is somewhere deep in these pixels. If you find it, please send it back. Yeah, they've been hard at work on some of these features. Yes. So initially they were trying different systems where cargo bays would act as separate entities. You had to shuffle things around, but it was just annoying. Look at any sort of survival game where you have chests that you need to label and then remember to put the right thing on the right chest.
Yeah, playing inventory shuffle on chests is not fun.
Ever. in any game. Please remove it from every game. Just let me have everything goes into a chest. As long as it's in a chest, I can access it. As long as I'm within a certain distance of said chest in these games. Please. Okay.
Actually, have you ever played Valheim?
No. Oh, hang on. Valheim, yeah?
Where the basic chests have only like 8 slots.
7 Days to Die is the same. It's
So you need to build a lot of chests.
Yeah, the first chests are crap, and then the bigger chests are better. But there are so many things that you need to store. Yeah.
And this one's going to be even worse because it's all remote view.
No, it's one big central inventory. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all. If it wasn't one big central inventory, it's all remote view, which means you really have to do some hoop jumping to organize it.
Yeah. So how do we get things to the space platform? Next one part was clear and unchanged from the beginning. Rocks being used to bring things to the platform. This is part is the main price of delivering items to inner space and other planets, but the rest went through an evolution. The original plan was it would be part of the logistics challenge to transport and install all the required items directly in the rocket silo, which would be a pain in the butt. Everything silo would be available to the orbital logistics system, which pulls required items from available rocket silos. Problem is, the actual gameplay produced by the system proved to be incredibly annoying very quickly. The reason is that you need many different items in small quantities to build the platform mini factory, and the only reasonable solution to do that was weird. You had to filter inventory slots in the silos. Each of the items would have a dedicated space, and then bring every individual item to the silo. And we can see
And this is the result of this monstrosity.
Yes. That's a pain in the butt. This is basically
how. It's not exactly how space exploration works, but it's pretty much how it works.
Space exploration, the rocket silo has 500 slots.
Yeah, it has a lot of slots, and everything that goes in there gets launched with the rocket.
Yeah.
Minus attrition.
Yeah.
You get 98% of it or whatever at the other end.
Look, it starts off much lower and gets much higher, but you get most of it, and you launch the whole lot, and you launch a bit of excess, and it's no big issue. Here, first of all, we don't know how many slots the rocket silo has. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Currently, in the game as it is, we have one.
It has one slot.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be bigger. I'm assuming it's going to be 5, 10, 20. Yup. Especially with the amount
20 seems reasonable. Seems like a... And again, I wonder if this could be something that's affected by quality. I don't know for sure if a silo can be quality or not.
Is the silo the quality, or the rocket parts the quality?
Well, if the silo has the parts craft the rocket, but the silo itself is the inventory, so potentially it could have the bigger inventory. There's the real question. Do the parts give the bigger inventory, or does the silo give it?
The parts make the rocket, which has the inventory that goes to space.
That is true.
So therefore, they have to have the quality. Therefore, you need to get all 700 items of a higher quality, which means mass recycling and mass rebuilding to get higher quality items. Yeah, okay. Let's move on.
I mean, it sounds like it makes sense, but my way sounds better because it's more logical.
Yeah.
As how the game works.
Yeah. So we need a way out. So we added 3 semi-separated features to fix this plan. So the rocket silo is directly connected to the logistics network and works as a requested chest. So it's just going to work like a blue chest. Nice and simple.
I think technically it'd be a buffer chest.
Okay, Mojo. The rocket silo can be configured with a checkbox to automatically request things needed by the platform above from the local logistics network. Note, this is only activated when the items are already present in the network in the needed quantities, which I translate to if you request 100 red belt and you only have 90 in the network, then the silo ends up with none. But as soon as you end up with 102, then the silo requests all 100.
And automatically launch it to the hub platform.
Yeah. And then when you place a ghost on the space platform can be set to automatically request these items from the surface of the local planet. So we got a couple of different options. And I think early game, because you're going to be micromanaging, you'll be using as a requested chest. So I want to bring these things, and then I want to launch just these things. And then later on, you'll tick that tick box. And then late game, you'll just go, yeah, I don't care. Well, if we launch a rocket with 100 red belt, we'll call it done. It sounds fine, because rockets just become nothing.
Because platforms are basically trains, from what they've described, I imagine most of the platforms, once you sort of get things going, is that they will behave like a bulk transport train, like an iron train or a copper train, and so on. So you wouldn't even use the requester.
Yeah, but I can't see you sending resources. I can see you sending construction materials because you're going to go to a new planet.
Yes.
And that new planet may need belts because you don't have iron on that planet. Or it might need uranium. We'll get to that shortly. Because you don't have uranium in space, and so on and so forth.
You could be bringing the raw resources from that planet back to craft science.
You could
also be bringing science packs back.
You could probably be bringing back science packs because, as we all know, that like you mine iron in current Factorio, out on a patch, and then if you convert it into plate, it stacks twice as much. If you convert it into gears, it's twice as much again. If you decide to make your green circuits out on site, then you suddenly fit 5 times or 10 times as much per train because you've crafted all the items together. So I can't see the idea of sending back raw resources being long-term viable. Like, way easier on logistics, but probably long-term viability is going to be much more expensive to send back raw resources rather than processing them on a planet.
Depends how they intend it to be done. I mean, alternatively, one solution would be to build the same base on every planet. And so, if it does like 200 science a minute or 1,000 science a minute on every planet, then you have, 7 times 1,000 science a minute? And, you just send all the required materials between each planet?
Yeah. There's going to be a number of ways to skin the cat, okay? We don't have to go straight to the belt center. We can work out some other options first. All right. So
I say oh dear because I think I just committed myself to a certain playthrough.
I think you did too. With these three things combined, you can just build Ghost on the platform. Everything is done automagically, assuming you have the items already available in your logistics network. The important part, you can still ignore the logistics network and stockpile the silo manually, which can be very practical in special situations or basically required in some of the yet undisclosed space age content, but that is an exception. Yeah, I think it's going to be practical when you first get into space. Very, very much.
Yeah. You're going to need it just to get all those construction materials up.
Yep.
And all those odds and ends.
Yep.
Get spun up.
Then we have asteroids as a resource, which we've covered in the very first Friday Facts, and they're also a hazard. They come in various sizes. Asteroid chunks are the tiniest, don't do any damage to the platform when they hit. Chunks also can be caught by mechanical tentacles. They've been officially called tentacles of asteroid catchers to be processed into items. So, we have 2 tentacle machines.
Yes.
And both of them have 1 arm each. Now, I believe quality increases the arm count. I think that's been confirmed
it is
somewhere.
mentioned further down.
Yep. But I'm wondering if with inserters, when we do a research on inserters and stack inserters where they can pick up more items at once, we can see these claws are picking up a certain amount of items per reachy grabby bit. I'm wondering if there's going to be a research so the clawy grabby tentacles grab more.
A claw grabby stack inserter bonus size.
Yeah.
Asteroid grabby stack size.
Yeah, tentacle stack size bonus grabbiness, larger hands. Yes. Also notice the one on the right has a much what looks to be larger range than the one on the left.
It does seem to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's also grabbing all of the different types of resources, so they're not restricted to grabbing one type of. Like once it's grabbed a piece of ice, it's not limited to just grabbing ice.
It grabs everything. Yeah.
It can grab anything else.
I wonder if the one on the left is just grabbing one resource type. Ice, no, carbon. No.
It could be filtered.
It could be filtered. Yeah, we do have filtered ones shortly. So we have 3 different types of asteroid. We have metallic asteroids for iron ore, used to produce gunpowder ammo and thruster oxidizer. Carbonic asteroids for carbon, which is a new resource used in the platforms to produce thruster fuel. And oxide asteroids for ice, which is melted in water and then used to produce thruster fuel and oxidizer. A new machine called a crusher is used for the process of asteroids. Later on, more resource types can be obtained from asteroids using advanced crushing recipes. So we can mix and match our crushing to something and get something slightly different crushed in a different variety of getting crushedness and get new resources. Cool.
Interesting. It was also interesting that they have 3 crushers for the different asteroids, and you can't just throw it all in at once. Later.
What's more interesting, they have filter stack inserters facing up to kick items out. I don't know what we're kicking out.
Yeah, and you don't see anything get kicked out.
No, there's ice getting kicked out of the right-hand one.
It spits out some... Yeah, the middle one as well spits out some asteroid chunks.
So maybe sometimes we decide we don't like that bit of carbon and it needs to be crushed a second time, or there's a quality stack bonus, or I don't know.
Productivity generates
Productivity?
a bonus asteroid.
Maybe?
It's very odd.
Okay, there is definitely more questions than answers. Okay. It can happen. The platform collects too many asteroids for some recipe or some recipe byproducts just accumulate too much. Here's one simple feature you love. You can dump the items overboard with inserters. Yes. The way to deal with
I have
all
also
the
already suggested that any excess iron you craft into pistols and then eject them into space.
Yes. And then we just hope that no aliens find the pistols and go to war with us with nothing but pistols.
I think we'll be safe.
I think we'll be safe. But Mojo is correct. Technically, it will compress the amount of iron if you convert it into a pistol first before you throw it overboard. Or you can throw it overboard. I like the idea of throwing it overboard. It makes nice patterns.
Either way, throwing it overboard's nice.
Yeah. In the past, we have multiple versions of ways to how to trash items from platforms, including having a special storage entity, which was able to do that. It got so complicated at the end, we just went for the super simple solution. I like the super simple solution.
That's a good move.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep it simple.
Space science in space. What if we produce space science packs on the space platform instead of by sending satellites into space? Sounds cool on first sight, but because it fleshes out the space science pack into something more than just an imaginary satellite to send us research data from space, but there are even better reasons for us. So, our initial version of space platforms, you'd unlock all of their components immediately after launching a rocket, which sounds boring. With that, you go explore planets. It sounded great until you realize the planet isn't quite getting anything useful out of it, and it is to have successfully bought science packs back from another planet. Which means you had to make the rocket, solo, and many rockets, build the space platform, travel the other planet, solve all the challenges of the planet, automate science packs and rocket production there, and then fly the whole lot home. Which reminded them of Friday Facts 304 and 305, which is where they changed basic oil from basic oil used to do petroleum, light, and heavy to
just petroleum.
Yeah, they did the other ones at a lower ratio, and changed it to just petroleum. Also, they rearranged the tech tree, because you didn't unlock any of the cracking. You didn't unlock all the different solid fuel combinations. Lasers were moved to a different part of the tech tree. There was a lot of changes, and a lot of people revolted to start with. But it made oil processing a whole lot easier for new players.
It did. It made oil processing so much less of a hassle.
Yeah.
Because the initial setup of the first oil was, like, back in the day, when you built the first oil refinery, you just built it for advanced oil processing. And the first thing you did, as soon as you got it all going, was research advanced oil processing.
No. Those who knew what they were doing.
Yes.
Yes. Those who didn't know what they're doing, you'd look at their map, and they have just a whole screen of nothing but tanks for heavy oil and tanks for light oil because they don't know what to do with it, and it just keeps stacking
got
up.
All this stuff.
And
you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. They also at the same time patched the fact that you could just feed heavy oil and light oil into a boiler, and it just a steam engine. Feed it into a steam engine, and it would just magically disappear. Don't question it. It was a bottomless pit.
Poor anti-elites.
Yeah. So they tried to break this into smaller, manageable subparts, which yielded some sort of useful reward on their own. This helped by effectively having 2 tiers of space science packs. Satellites launched to space, still used to obtain the first science packs, but now you only get 10 for a satellite. You can spend these on a few technologies, which cost in the range of 10 to 30 space science packs each. Namely, this is where you can unlock tier 2 modules. I don't know why they mentioned tier 2 modules. Covrex enrichment.
Specific, but yes.
Yeah, Covrex enrichment, which we'll get back to. Space platforms, asteroid collectors, and the new science pack recipe. So you're going to have to get the space platform, which is 30 science, plus the asteroids, which is 20 science, plus actually making space science packs in space, obviously, for another 10. So you're going to have to spend 60 science, which is going to be guaranteed six rockets. Yes. Plus modules too, if you want them. Plus, you're going to want Covarex sooner or later.
Actually, you know how they say unlock tier 2 modules?
Uh-huh.
That means you have to launch the rocket without productivity 3s.
Yeah, you're going to have prod 1s. Prod 1s.
Yeah, but best prod 1s.
Yeah, which means rockets are considerably more expensive.
Full price.
They're not full price, but they're close to.
Not full, yeah. It's pretty close. It's minus, 12%? 16%?
16. Compared to the normal
4%, not 3%.
30 something, whatever.
40%.
Yeah. So the next step is construct a basic platform capable of collecting and crashing asteroids. Plus, this platform can combine crashed asteroids with imported uranium from Narvis to produce science packs in much higher quantities. With one rocket load of enriched uranium, which we still don't know how much is, you could produce 1,000 space science packs in space, which makes it about 100 plus times more efficient than setting satellites in space, because satellites are expensive. Rockets are more expensive, but satellites are expensive. This is effectively splitting space science technologies into 2 distinct tiers. So, we have the Grabby Boy with the inserter that's going to give you iron, carbon, and ice, which are being crushed, which is, I'm not sure
What's interesting here is it has the alt view recipes on, which means the crusher is like an assembly machine where you set the recipe specifically. You can't just get into it.
You're right.
Which explains a lot before.
You're right. Also, they have the backward inserters, so it is going to kick out occasionally stuff that has to be recrushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the alt icon for the crushers. Like, it makes sense, but I don't know how I feel about it. And then, yes, we're making iron plates. We're feeding the carbon and the ice directly into space science, outputting space science, but we also need to put shiny rocks in and shiny rocks out.
Yes.
Yes. And there's going to be some sort of loss on the shiny rocks.
I mean, we speculate it'll either be same, or some loss. I've seen numbers like 97%, 89%. It's completely unknown at this point.
It's completely unknown. But look, at the end of the day, if you have one centrifuge running that you're constantly feeding uranium to, you can run one nuclear reactor. So it means you get one shiny rock every 300 seconds, is it? I can't remember how long nuclear fuel runs for. I think it's 300 seconds.
200 seconds.
200 seconds. I think it's 3. Mojo says it's 2. Either way, comment section. Tell us who's right.
Drive you that engagement.
Yeah. So it means that, it's not going to burn a whole lot. I think the limitation is going to be, where do you put all the dull rocks? That's really what it's going to come down to. Do you rush Covarex so you can start making more shiny rocks and get rid of the dull rocks? Or do you start mass bulk storaging dull rocks whilst you do possibly other researches that are more important? Like thruster technology, so you can actually fly across space? Also, the important question of how do we get these science packs back from space? Yeah.
So I've just been watching the animation. I didn't even think of this earlier. It is 4 full swings of the stack filter inserter.
Mm-hmm.
Which means 48 plus 2 on the end. 50 space science packs comes out of that.
We may know too much about Factorio. It's fine. Don't question it. This is why you're watching the video. So the questions we have, and they have not been answered, is how the hell do we get stuff home from space? That's the unknown. Also, we're going to jump back to the second image very quickly, so we get the space module. Or the space, what is it? Space Platform Hub, because that's a great name. I hope that gets a change.
Or just hub. If you just say hub, platform hub or something, you know what you mean.
Space hub, platform hub, anything hub.
Pace platform hub?
Yeah, cool. Sure. Yeah, this is why Mojo's not in charge. All right. We have had some confirmations because, we know players can be transported in these things. Also, players live in this. Players can't build anything. That's very, very important. I'm willing to bet the big white thing in the top right-hand corner, which is temporary art, it's going to be changed, it's just a concept art at the moment, is where the player lives. I'm also willing to bet with the giant gear on the roof and the popping of the roof, that's also how the player or the cargo gets back down.
There's a little mini silo that fires off a cute little baby rocket.
Yeah, well, going back down is a whole lot easier. It's mainly falling. It's getting up
Yeah.
is the hard part. Also, we haven't covered
Especially
this.
as we get older.
We haven't covered this thorough. We haven't covered this at all. But we did have the picture of building, which was all seems to be done instantaneously. It's not going to be done instantaneously. There's going to be some entity that's going to be building stuff, and the devs did confirm that they forgot to add in that little bit of graphic, and we're going to cover that in a future Friday Facts. And my money is we're going to have out of the bottom left platform, not Spidertrons, because we can't have Spidertrons because there's only going to be one entity that's capable of building in space, but we're going to have the Neobutheus Factorio Scorpion.
Yes.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense. A space scorpion that lives in on space platforms.
And build things. He's got two pinches to carry around buildings, whack them down, tail to put stuff on. Neobutheus Scorpius Factorious is going to live in this in the space platform hub, and he's going to build everything for us. I actually think it'd be a great idea.
It would be.
It would be, 100%. And it means that there is a reason for the Neobutheus Factorious Scorpion to actually exist inside the game. Either it's going to be on one of the planets and we're going to fight it. It's going to be one or the other. All right, back to the other parts of the Friday Facts.
Yes.
So, past this point, technology return back to costing hundreds of thousands of research points each. Normal infinite technology become more affordable because finally get more robot speed upgrades, weapon damage upgrades, or unlock the atomic bomb. You just need to launch more rockets. They were never more affordable or less affordable. You just need to launch more rockets.
Mine more materials, smelt more plates, make more rockets.
Run out of iron more often.
Simples.
Yeah. So the progress is also very useful so players get a grasp of the basics asteroid processing in a safe environment before they need a platform which dares to travel away from Narvis. So moving space platforms. Space platforms can be either stopped in orbit or moving between two orbits. So you can't park halfway between two orbits, which is going to be interesting.
No, it's stopped in orbit or when they're traveling between two orbits, so they can be stopped in mid-space.
Either stopped in orbit, that's in the orbit of a planet, not between two planets.
Or moving between two orbits, which is between two planets.
Yeah, but not drive halfway and then just park your butt.
That's sort of what it says, I thought.
Well, if you click a train and you say control and then you pick a bit of track between two stations, that would work. But I don't see a way of doing that in this system because it says moving between two orbits. I don't think you can say, hey, drive halfway to planet X and stop.
So it can either be stopped or moving between two orbits.
Yeah.
It can be stopped while moving between two orbits. See, it's the way I was thinking of it, because these are elsewhere being described as basically the same as trains.
Yes.
Whereas a train, you can just set it to manual and it'll stop.
And like a train, you could choose to have it run out of fuel. The difference is this will self-fuel, so if you flicked it inserted the wrong way so the fuel stopped running in, then it would stop. But technically, you can't stop it. That's besides the point. All right. For movement, platform has some weight based on its size, the number of tiles, which is attempted to move by the force of the thrusters. This means the bigger the platform, the more thrusters it needs to move fast. In order to move, the thruster needs to be supplied with fuel and oxidizer, which can be obtained from asteroid resources. So we have ice into water at the top, which is feeding the oxygen. Well, it's feeding water into the carbon.
Feeding water into a fuel and some kind of a red thing and a blue thing.
Well, the blue thing's already been confirmed as the oxidizer, so that's iron oxide.
Yep, we can see the iron going in.
Yep, and the red thing is carbon, or no, hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, yes.
Yes, because we're splitting the water into hydrogen and oxygen in both chemical plants. And each chemical plant is throwing away the other resource because it's Factorio and we don't do things efficiently.
No, God, no. The more pollution, the better,
oxygen,
especially space pollution.
Iron and oxygen to make oxidizer, and hydrogen and carbon to make hydrocarbons.
Yep. To plug it all into an engine to make engine go fast. And now finally confirmed, because now we have alt mode on, that the fuel is a pass-through. Yes, with a diagonal cross.
Yes.
Which should...
Just like a flame turret. Which interesting is it's crisscrossed.
Yes. Also interesting to bring up flame turrets. In theory, we can build them in space.
Yes, this is something that I do want to know, is if you can use flame turrets to take down asteroids.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't build burner inserters, but we're not burning anything to insert things. So asteroids is a threat. The platform must be equipped with defensive turrets because after departing from Narva's orbit, larger asteroids appear. If unchecked, these can heavily damage and eventually completely destroy the platform. On destruction, bigger asteroids split into multiple small ones, eventually turning into harmless chunks. So the tiniest of tiny bits hit the platform and nobody cares.
Yep.
The bigger ones are bad.
Big ones are bad, but I don't think they actually show what happens.
They do not show what happens when a bigger one hits.
You do briefly in the clip see a big chunk split into smaller chunks, which then get split into the smallest chunks.
Yes, but we don't
So
see...
there are multiple sizes, but
We-
again, we don't see much of the different sizes.
Yeah, well, but we don't see anything hitting. That's what I'm curious about. How much damage does this actually do? Yes. And just as Mojo pointed out, that if I can load anything onto a space platform, I could barrel up crude oil and launch it to space and then unbarrel it and feed it into a flame turret. And then could I fire a flamethrower at the asteroids?
Fire a literal flamethrower, so as in you load it up into a modded gun turret which fires flame turrets.
No, Mojo. Load the crude oil into a flame turret. Oh my god. Okay, so, sure. Everything in Factorio
Light
Space platform is done via remote view. No coincidence, it was the topic of the last Friday Facts. Some entities can be constructed on platforms, for example, robots. So platform remains a belt logistics puzzle, which I'm actually a giant fan of.
And also the hub is basically its own logistics system, and robots would confuse that.
Yes, because it's going to have the Neobuddiest Factorio Scorpion in there to actually
That too,
build
yes.
things. Yeah. Chest.
They don't get along well with the robots.
No. It's the
They're
giant
very territorial.
Yeah, it's the pincers and the giant stabby thing. It just all the robots dead out of the air. Cool. Chests to prevent excessive buffering. We'd never dream about doing that. Vehicles, including trains and Spidertrons for various reasons. So there is no putting a train inside on your space platform to drive your train around in space whilst your space platform acts like a train moving between planets.
No train set in space.
Correct.
Sad.
Correct.
So I wanted a little oval that goes around the hub.
Yes.
'Cause that's pretty much all you can build.
Yes.
And no SE giant space train base.
Technically, you could make this as big as you want it. It all just depends on how much
Yes.
fuel you'd need to move it, and maybe it just doesn't move anymore.
Well, if you actually go to the clip above again, the implication that I'm getting from that is that the platform is enormous because it actually has you can just see a big power pole. I mean, the whole thing is.
Oh yeah. But the big
If there's
power
a big
pole
power pole
could
it
be
means that
there for wire
potentially
range.
using the reach of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be there for wire range because it's got a red wire on it. But yes, you could.
Yes.
There's no limit, as Factorio has often proven, that, having a map, 1,000,000 tiles by 1,000,000 tiles, or 2,000,000 by 2,000,000 is perfectly fine. The game engine supports it. They also had a bug in there where you could make it slightly bigger, and the game hard crashed. But that's besides the point. No burner entities because there's no atmosphere in space.
It's only a small slice of realism, not Puritan adherence to realism.
Look, burner entities require oxygen to burn to make things, but flamethrowers, whole different story.
Nope, they don't. They have their own oxidizer.
Exactly. So the flamethrower as an active weapon to deal with asteroids, because nothing gets rid of an asteroid faster than fire. And also space platforms can have holes in tiles. Their surface must be continuous. If a tile that bridges two sections is destroyed, the section without connection to the hub is destroyed as well. So don't drive your giant space platform hub through an asteroid field and forget to put ammo in one side.
Yes. It seems to suggest that having solid bricks is the way to go, and because if you have any kind of loosely attached extremity, or you're trying to make something, maybe like a version of the Enterprise or something, and
everything goes fine as long as you don't take any damage. But also, just importantly, people had to ask, can I make a C-section of the base and run an underground through dead air? And the answer is no.
No, you cannot.
Same with underground pipes. It turns out they need to have some sort of something to underground through. It turns out, who would have funked it?
Whoever would have guessed that an underground needs to underground through something? After all this time, undergrounds do have a physical presence. They don't just magically imagine the space between the 2 points.
No, look, they definitely need a physical presence. It's besides the point. You can underground under a river or a lake or something. It's fine. Don't question it. Just a very deep underground. Yes. Also, power.
Having holes, just as a side note, having holes means you can also exploit the whole weight thing and have super Swiss cheese, super lightweight platforms.
Oh yeah.
Probably trying to avoid that.
Yeah, definitely. It also means that yes, you want to every single tile you put down, you wish to maximize. You're not going to be wasting any space unless you have to. So we can see the finest quality of spaghetti coming out with the space age and the space platforms. There's going to be some wonderful spaghetti invented by many players trying to maximize every single tile. So we have power on space platforms. Power is automatically distributed by the space platform tiles, so you don't need to build power poles, which I imagine a lot of players are rejoicing about right now. I'm
sure there's someone sad they can't put small power poles up on the platform. Well, they don't need to. You still can.
Oh, but now I want to put the space platform on the ground and just not have to worry about power poles at all.
Now you want it as landfill.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Oh, that'll be like a third mod incoming.
Yeah, the platform gets power primarily from solar panels. This power is still rather limited on the platform, as every solar panel adds to the size of the platform, which increases its weight and slows it down. This means efficiency modules finally have a use. Finally.
Yay.
Finally.
They had a limited use, but it was limited.
Well, it also means that quality efficiency modules could be very interesting.
Potentially, the problem with efficiency modules is they do have a hard cap on how much they can reduce.
Yes,
and that was also what limited them.
But if you put a efficiency module with a speed module, then that increases the cap.
Yeah, or you just it's sort of 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Exactly. But you can use the quality of the better efficiency module to offset the more speed modules and vice versa.
Yes.
So,
although I think the electric consumption still goes down. I remember. There's like one, all except for 1 or 2 stats that reaches a minimum like minus 80%.
Minus 80% is power and pollution. And pollution, I think, in space is a pretty mute point, unless we have space aliens that are going to attack us and they don't like pollution as well. At which point, we've got guns on the platform already. Come out, big boy. And there's also a neo buddy as Factorio that will defend the platform. Yes. So, solar panels. Efficiency modules important. Solar panel output is generally greater in space than on other planets, but most planets are further away from the star than Narvas, and eventually we get to travel to really distant places where solar panels are almost useless. This leaves room for nuclear power being completely viable to be used on space platforms, although it requires a significant amount of water/ice to be gathered from asteroids. So, couple of things.
What's to stop sending water barrels up, though?
It's no longer in your orbit.
But you could just preload with water barrels or
limited storage
or something.
Limited storage.
You got a tank right there.
Yeah, but how fast is it going to burn? How quickly are you going to use the power? There's a couple of things. The first thing being, we already know from the previous Friday Facts where they showed us the new world map, sky map, remote view.
In fact, why not just barrel steam and send it up?
Pre-boiler steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could. Run the nuclear reactor, run the heat exchanger, and just...
You could run a reactor on a planet where there's infinite water.
Can you barrel steam? I know you can load in a train. I don't think you can barrel it.
You might not be able to, actually, yeah.
So, and there's no trains in space. So, you could run the reactor with water you've launched up to fill the reactor, although you could just park it in space for a very long time and just suck up every...
barrel steam. Never mind.
Suck up every single asteroid that flies past you to get enough oil to fill the tank full of steam and multiple tanks full of steam, so therefore you're not burning water too fast. But solar panels we know from the remote view from last Friday Facts that on Narvis it had a 50% bonus in space, so you're gonna get a little bit of a bonus, but who knows about the other planets. And As for nuclear, these are just normal steam turbines. I know in
Yes.
space exploration we have condenser turbines, which then recapture the steam and then convert it back to water.
They return the steam as a closed loop.
Yeah, it's not closed. There is some loss, but it means that
there is
much more efficient to run. So I wonder if we're going to get the same thing in space age, because I don't know. Like, these things use a lot of water.
They do. At the same time, it's only one.
I
don't think you're going to need like a 2x4 reactor, doing 1 gigawatt.
But that's one reactor. That's only doing 40 megawatts.
It might be all you need.
40 megawatts?
Yeah, don't know. As I say, it might be all you need.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Also, we have the wonderful...
Probably going to need some circuit network to manage the fuel at the very least. That's where I got the idea for stockpiling steam from, is that you could run the reactor intermittently and then stockpile steam and use it as needed.
Burning the fuel cells is going to cost you fuel cells. Who cares? That's not really the issue.
Yeah, fuel cells are not expensive.
The issue is going to be the water, and the water you just want to like shove in as fast as you can. It's going to be converted to steam, and then if you're not using it, then it's just going to sit there in the tanks and in the machines and do nothing. It's only consumed when it's converted into power if you need that power. So yeah, there's no reason to have any circuitry on it. The only thing you might want to do is maybe if you get into a critical situation, be able to power down part of your platform if you're running low on power. But that's a lot of circuitry, a lot of very careful power pole placement, which is not possible because all the power just runs through all the floor. Yeah.
Poles for circuit wire.
Yes. We also have a filtered technical grabby thingamajiggy bob on the back. So it's just grabbing all the ice that we fly past to make the water, to make the nuclear reactor go. So quality implications. Quality of it is extremely influential in the platform, since its effect basically multiplies against each other. It's like having prob mods. You put prob mods in one item and you get a plus 4%. Then in the next item you get a 4% with a 4% compound on that, and so on and so forth. It's going to add up potentially very fast, depending on how heavily you want to go into quality. So higher quality chem plants produce fuel faster whilst consuming the same amount of power. Solar panels means more power for less space. Higher quality asteroid collectors have more arms for caching asteroid chunks.
Yes.
But I wonder if that
Which means you need less of them.
Yes, but I wonder if it I wonder if it increases the range, because we had that one up before that had the one on the right seemed to have a much bigger range than the other. Yeah. High quality furnaces and assembly machines can craft ammo faster. High quality gun turrets have increased range, so they get more time to shoot the asteroids before they would hit the platform. That's going to be very, very important in the middle of the platform. Towards the edges, you don't really want to shoot the things that are going to slide past you. They can stay. And in general, high quality entities have more health, so the platform can take more hits if an asteroid slips through. You do not want an asteroid to slip through, I think is my bottom line answer.
Yeah, it's like any of those, like a wave defense game?
Yeah.
Or tower defense game, where as soon as something slips through, then you're already dead.
There is a chance for recovery, but it's diminishing returns constantly. Yeah.
You're fighting just going down the drain.
Yeah. Long story short, if you have a few high quality items, it might make a lot of sense to use them up on the platform.
Yes.
And then we have this wonderful video of a legendary platform, which there's a couple of things. So first off, we have the grabby on the right, which is filtered for just ice, and the tentacle arms need to go around the buildings, which I think is a great addition. There's no reaching over buildings under the platform. It has to reach around things, which means if the arms have a limited length, which I assume they do, then where you build the platform around them could affect what areas they can and cannot reach. It also means the ones left and right are sort of trying to cover the middle as best as possible. Yeah. And all the little chunks don't hurt at all.
It's also interesting the left one isn't doing anything. It seems to be disabled.
It's a Sunday. You don't work on a Sunday. You don't work on a Sunday. We all know you don't work on a Sunday. We also have the amazing amounts of junk being thrown overboard, which
Yes,
I
it's
love.
actually a lot.
Yeah, this is what makes it like you could turn it to pistols, Mojo, but you could just throw it overboard and have this nice little this waterfall effect of crap that you're
This
throwing
waterfall
overboard.
of junk.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
in fact, you could doing it this way means that you can upset the entirety of Reddit where the thrusters stop, and everything just continues to all the stuff flying off just stops as well.
Well, no, it doesn't stop. It stays moving at the same speed as you do relatively.
Yeah.
Relatively, it's still moving at the same spot. You haven't actually stopped moving. You've just relatively stopped accelerating because the thrusters have turned off. It's not stars in the background. They are specks of dust that are catching the reflections from your space platform.
Off of Venus?
No, your space platform. It's got lights. Can you not see the furnaces are lit up?
Yes.
Yep, see? It's dust. It's not stars, because stars don't move in relation to where you are. Well, they do very slowly. It's obviously specks of dust, just reflecting the
Okay, so it's not light reflecting off of Venus.
Maybe that's one or two pieces of dust.
It could be as well.
Yep, maybe. But we do have lots of junk hitting the platform, and because they're little bits of junk, it doesn't hurt. And we do have, I think the best part is the rocket. The rocket plume.
Yes, everyone's loving the rocket plumes.
That is a lot.
There's a lot going on there.
It is a lot. I can hear some people's toasters screaming right now. It's wonderful, but it's a lot. Yeah. Oh, and I'm also noticing the crap that went around the front of the rocket is circling towards the back of the rocket, coming back in like the wake would on a boat.
Yeah, I wonder if it does that on purpose, because you know how we had the picture of the grabby arm from behind for the nuclear reactor? I wonder if it's sort of doing that on purpose for that reason.
Yeah, so you have a better chance to grab stuff as you sail past it. I'm willing to bet it is. Which also means that if you let something go past the side of the rocket, but too close past the side of the rocket, the platform, there's a chance that a large asteroid might swing back in and clip you on the backside. Which could be very bad, because that's probably going to be thrusters. Yeah. All right. So the process. The platforms you can see here achieve quite accurately what Kovex's original idea was. However, we spent a lot of time finding the right path to get here. The rocket logistics and space platform mechanics were changed very significantly many times. We weren't afraid to rework systems and related the platform in order to make the experience of building them as good as we can imagine. Apart from the technical mechanics, we created interesting recipes that don't get too complicated. At the start, we had a rough idea of what we want to achieve, somehow craft ammo and something for thrusters. Arendelle has laid out a creative set of recipes. Since then, I, being V, have done a lot of balancing past and tweaks, and we've got something quite solid now. As you've probably already used to by now, the graphics of this post have taken a lot of effort to make. Through this time, it exceeded the trend. Though this time exceeded the trend quite a bit, and the space platform has been a real team effort more than anything else before it. From the surface of space platform tiles and decoratives are done by Lucas. Space platform transistors, thrusters, crushers, and the hub cargo bays are done by Jaroslaw. Yep. Asteroid collectors and starfield shader done by Jersey. The Astros are done by Firgahal. Yes.
Hole or something.
Yep, with all the concept art coming from Arendelle and oversight from Albert with V. We can safely say that close to everybody from the graphics department has been involved. Pretty much every one of these tasks has tested our sanity. I bet it has.
They've certainly been commenting on it in every graphics.
Every single post we've had, yeah.
Post, yes. They've been commented on the challenge it's been.
Yeah, look, Factorio is the brown game that's got a little bit more light over the years, but they have such a well-defined look that a lot of this stuff doesn't really look like it fits. Like, it's a little bit too polished, which does bring up the question of are some of the things that are still a little bit dated going to get a repolish again. Yeah. like the furnaces look a little bit out of place beside those engines. Just a wee
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Furnaces or chemical plants?
Both.
Both.
The
Okay,
chemical
go.
plants have the clear glass bit. The furnaces, yeah, they look very flat compared to the engines. Very,
Funny
very
thing is
flat.
I think the furnace. Oh, the furnace has had a graphical overhaul. Like it's been crispened up, but it is basically the same thing going back a really long time.
Yeah, and look, the assemblers are basically the same, apart from we've gone from 3 gears on the top to the mess we have on top now. Which,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Again, they've had a bit of a graphical overhaul, but they're still basically the same.
yeah. So some of the fact the factory must grow always, but something sometimes just transcends to the point where it seems like nothing matters anymore, and all the changes have been trivialized. Survival, space constraints, items feeling like they have any value, and so on. With the rules of how space platforms are built, we can enjoy these feelings of puzzle being solved for quite a bit further. Whilst building platform can be easy by sending more platform tiles to space and giving yourself more room to build, it's always motivating to try and keep the platform as compact so it can fly as fast as possible. Space platforms can specialize in different tasks, so it can be motivating to optimize them for different design goals. You could aim to make a huge platform, you could load thousands of items, or a small platform with capacity sacrifice for speed. Would you like a minimal platform so you can get to that first planet as soon as possible? Or perhaps you...
Got to go fast.
Well, I think I prefer a giant platform that has everything I need, so when I get there, I know I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least for my
Probably the
first
better way to
playthrough.
go.
You know, by my third or fourth one, I'll probably just run by the seat of my pants and, who cares?
You'll have a blueprint with all the basics figured out.
Yeah, probably. Or you can perhaps a giant platform that can craft its own components mid-flight. Yeah, I like the idea of that. Quite a few more things to try, but more about that some other day. It's obvious to compare space ages space platforms to space exploration spaceships. Whilst they're both chunks of metal traversing space, the gameplay is very different. Thanks to the astro processing, space platforms can operate completely independently without the need to refuel, which is very, very true. It also automatically means that they are little or gigantic space factories where space really matters. Due to modding API limitations, SE spaceships get rather complicated to automate with combinators and so on. In contrast, space platforms automatic scheduling is literally as simple as automating trains, which Clonan, I think, said it took them a month.
Yeah, on Discord,
Somewhere. Maybe I'll insert it, maybe I won't, but yeah, I think it said it took a month, and they also mentioned changing the train GUI somehow.
GUI, yes.
So I'm hoping in a future, the next Friday Facts, we finally hear about train scheduling. Yes. All in all, creating your first automated train platform, space platform, should be quite easy. There's a lot of room for making something really big and complex too. Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. What else do we have to add? The only thing we had to add is they have said, because it's been out of date for a long time, that the audio for Factorio is going to get a little bit of TLC, because it's very much fallen behind.
That was on Reddit by Kovarex.
Yes.
Mentioned it could be coming up.
Yes. Along with, of course, we want the Neobuddius Factorious building construction doohickey thing.
Kajiga, was it?
Yeah, look, it's. We covered an earlier Friday Facts. Use the search button, okay? I do not remember which Friday Facts it was. Actually, it's written on the Wikipedia. It is Friday Facts number 274. We covered it. It is a scorpion named after the game Factorio by Kovarex's father. And I've always been excited to see this in game, and it hasn't happened. And
you've been patiently waiting for it for years.
Oh, well, it was before a Spidertron, so my money was we'd see a Scorpion before a Spidertron.
Scorpiontron.
Well, just because the Spidertron was a long-going meme that just never happened.
Yeah.
So everybody written off. I'm like, Scorpion, we could do a Scorpion. We forget the Spidertron, we'll get a Scorpion instead. And then we've got no Scorpion. And as they need some way to construct things on the space platform, you're not just going to ghost things down. They're just going to magically appear from the great white space hub of storage. It's not a robot. It's confirmed there are no robots in space due to the lack of air to have an atmosphere to fire the thrusters. Well, the helicopter blades,
how would
the
a bot
drones.
stay associated with the platform if the platform is moving and there's no atmosphere? It would just fly away.
Exactly. They're also the whole no atmosphere, and they're like drones. They have a big turbine that pushes air, and there's no air in space. Yeah. So there has to be something to physically build items, and I really hope it's the Scorpion. But I don't think I've got anything else to add for this Friday Facts. Do you?
Nope. I've added everything that I need to.
Good.
And want to.
Good, because it's been a very, very long Friday Facts. But with all that
It
said and
has.
done, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed our little Friday Facts rants, and we'll see you in the next one, which is hopefully maybe slightly shorter, but possibly not.
Very likely not.
Anyway, that's it. We're out. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.